Okay, so Zorin OS 18 beta just dropped.
Yeah.
And the timing could not feel more deliberate, really.
Right. Microsoft officially pulled the plug on Windows 10 back on October 14th.
Leaving, what was it, an estimated 240 million computers suddenly, well, orphaned,
Yeah.
looking for a new home.
Exactly. So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're looking at Zorin 18 positioning itself as, the timely Linux rescue
You
upgrade.
got all those Windows refugees, yeah.
And when you see a big, stable release lining up perfectly with retirement of, well, the world's most popular OS,
This doesn't feel like a coincidence.
not really, no. They are actively going after that huge, suddenly excluded user base. It's pretty clear.
Okay, let's get into this hardware thing, because here's where it gets really, really stark.
Mm-hmm.
Zorin 18, it's built on the latest Ubuntu 24.04.04, running Linux kernel 6.14, which means it can genuinely bring back ancient hardware.
Like seriously old. We're talking
Oh.
laptops, desktops from back in 2010, maybe even older.
Stuff Windows 11 wouldn't touch.
And that is what I'd call weapons-grade irony. I mean, the whole reason those 240 million machines are stranded.
The TPM 2.0 chip requirement for Windows 11, the trusted platform module.
Right. It's this security gatekeeper chip on the motherboard. Microsoft basically built this high wall.
Kicking out millions of perfectly good computers.
Well, Zorin comes along and specifically targets that gap, offering a modern, secure OS that needs, well, almost nothing compared to Windows 11.
And using that new kernel, 6.14, that's not just tech jargon, right? It means better power management right away.
Yeah, and wider support for newer Wi-Fi, other peripherals, stuff that makes those older systems actually run better, more efficiently.
Okay, so it runs on old stuff. But does it feel old?
No, that's the thing. Zorin knows who they're talking to. They get that users need visual comfort. It's not just functional, it's familiar.
And visually, yeah, it does feel aimed squarely at Windows migrants. You've got these floating, rounded panels, smooth animations. It definitely has that Windows 11 kind of energy. They even added new theme colors, yellow and brown, apparently based on user feedback, giving people more choice.
But the real hook for someone moving from Windows, I think, isn't just how it looks. It's the user experience stuff.
Like the tiling system.
Exactly. Windows 11 has snap layouts, but honestly, getting complex setups often means fiddling with keyboard shortcuts. It can be annoying.
How does Zorin do it?
They simplified it brilliantly. You just drag a window to the top of the screen, and boom, this clean little pop-up appears.
With layout options.
Yeah, pre-configured layouts. Just click. It totally removes that friction of having to learn a new complex system. Smart.
They also seem big on integrating stuff, like the web apps feature.
Oh yeah, that's clever. It basically takes websites, the Google Docs, Microsoft Teams, even Adobe Photoshop on the web.
And turns them into desktop apps.
Pretty much. They feel native, less browser clutter, makes those big web services feel integrated.
And the cloud integration. OneDrive.
That's a big step too. Built right into the file manager. You link your online accounts, and your OneDrive files just show up like they're local files.
Okay, that sounds really smooth.
It is.
Yeah.
Very impressive, that level of proprietary integration. Though, it does raise a question.
Sustainability.
Yeah. Can a smaller team like Zorin really keep that deep integration going long term if Microsoft decides to, I don't know, change the rules for OneDrive access? That's something to watch.
Good point. And that leads us to the reality check, I guess. Because it sounds great, but it is beta software.
Right. Need that caveat. The Zorin team themselves admit things are missing some wallpapers, placeholder welcome videos, standard beta stuff.
And user reviews seem to reflect that beta status. We're seeing reports of, well, mixed hardware compatibility expected, maybe?
But also specific complaints. Battery drain issues cropping up, suggesting maybe some background processes aren't quite optimized yet.
And more seriously, we saw one report from a pro user.
Yeah, this was concerning. Said they paid the premium for priority installation support, got no response at all, and eventually just gave up and switched to a different Linux distro.
Ouch. That definitely makes you think twice about the value of that paid support tier, at least right now in beta.
It does. It really does.
So let's talk cost. What's the damage or lack thereof?
Well, the core edition, which has most of what we've talked about, the main experience, is completely free. Zero cost.
Okay. And the pro edition?
That one costs $48, including tax.
Yeah.
And for that, you get extra goodies. 8 premium desktop layouts mimicking macOS, Chrome OS, Windows, even iPad OS.
Plus some professional-grade apps bundled in and that installation support we just mentioned.
Supposedly, yeah. The big plus, though, is the support timeline. They're promising support for the OS itself until April 2029.
Wow, okay, that's a long time.
That is a serious long-term commitment. So when you weigh it up, Zorin 18, it offers a real, potentially much less painful exit strategy compared to the alternatives.
Which are buying a whole new computer just to run Windows 11.
Or paying Microsoft roughly $30 a year per machine for those extended security patches just to keep Windows 10 somewhat safe.
So the advice is clear then.
Absolutely. If you're even thinking about making the jump, grab that free Core Edition, download it, put it on a USB drive, and test it thoroughly on your hardware, live boot it. See how it feels before you commit any money.
Makes sense. So wrapping up, if your main goal is long-term stability, saving significant cash, but without giving up a modern, familiar-looking interface,
Then Zorin OS 18 really does present a clear path out of, Microsoft's walled garden.
it's an alternative that seems to offer genuine hardware freedom, especially for older machines.
Exactly. So the final thought for you, the listeners, really, what does that kind of freedom, that choice, actually mean for how you use your computer every day? That's worth mulling over.